Welcome to #LearnTheSong, everyone, where we go over the parts to creating a song, recreating a song in a cover band or live music situation. So if you're in a cover band or you're playing with your friends and you want to pull tunes off, we talk about what makes the song, the key things, the form, the melody, the harmony, and if you're going to take leads, what to focus on, just all the things that you need to tackle songs that you love and when you're playing out live. So if you have a bunch of pieces in the band, how to add different parts and so on and so forth. So this song is one of my favorite songs by one of my favorite artists. This is Crazy Love by Morrison. Now if you play in a wedding band or even if you do solo acoustic stuff in clubs, this is a real tune. People love it. It always goes over well, and again, even if you're just at home playing for your girl or whatever, this is a song which is always going to work. People are always going to like, and you always have to have songs like that in your bag, so to speak. So this song, what makes it so cool is that unlike most of the rest of the songs in your set, this song is not going to be a push song where the drums are pushing some rhythm and you're really being pushed through the track. This song is about waiting for the release. He does it in the vocals, the instrumentation does it. It is very much a song where if you're doing it right, you almost kind of feel like you're taking too long, like you're slow, like you're staggering. But then when the chord gets there and the change gets there, you feel this release, like you've been released to the next part. And that's a key difference from rock and roll based songs where you just kind of hammer through to the next part and it's really this driving rhythm that pushes you. Where this is very much, the band is in support of the vocalist and the vocalist is very free to explore and the instrumentation is very free to explore and everybody kind of moves through the form together, but they're all all the pieces kind of wait for each other as opposed to all the pieces pushing each other. And that's important to feel. It's hard to explain with words, but if you jump into this song and you try playing with friends and it just doesn't feel right, it doesn't sound right, you feel like you're rushing it, that's why. You want to just kind of wait for each part, each chord, even each note, right up to the point where you feel like you're going to miss it, and then you release back into the form. Sorry to get all abstract on you, but that's really, I feel, the right way to approach this song. Now, the song on the record is in A, but you can do it in any key. You can move it with the capo to get the walk down, I'm going to show you, because you got to get the walk down. But they do it, Morrison on the record does it in A. So it's A major, C sharp minor, D, A. So that's a 1, that's a 3 minor, and then a 4 major. That's your basic harmony of the tune. Now when you're going through here, again, it's just A, C sharp, D, A. It's in 4/4, one measure of each. Nothing crazy complicated there. But if you have a bunch of different pieces, because this is more of a release song and not a push song, it's very airy and open. So you give yourself a lot of space for ornamentation, as long as you don't step on the spot for the vocals. If you think you're overplaying something and doing too much, you are. If it even enters your brain, you are. This is absolutely a less is more. All these ballad type songs are like that. So when you're going through here, if you just have one guitar player, it makes the most sense probably to have them just play the actual chords, keep a little melody with the drums, and not get too fancy with it. But if you have two, it makes more sense to have one guitar just let the chords ring out and have another guitar arpeggiate. So if you got one guitar ringing out and one arpeggiating, where you're just going up and down those chords, you're going to create, your two distinct parts that you're going to hear in the mix. If you have another guitar player, you have pretty much another choice, or if it's two guitar players and a keyboard, right, something like that, your other main choice is to do those same arpeggios higher, right? You could, do your A, up here, C sharp minor, to D up there, all your different places. You just want to make sure there's a low, a middle, and a high for the most part. But the other thing that I like to do, which I think works really well with these types of songs, is what I did in the intro. It's that little... It's those little lightning strikes, right? Where you hit the root of the chord, and then the top triad of the chord, and then if you have a little reverb or delay or something like that, you kind of let the decay determine kind of when you come back in, right? And you got to use your ear and your fingers to kind of get good at that, but it adds a lot of space, and it really, really adds to that release that we were talking about. If you do that, in time with the drums, with a little kind of snare pop or a little piece of the hi-hat, something like that, you're really going to feel like you see how you're kind of like waiting for each one? It'll really add to that. When people are dancing, they'll feel that, and you'll see them respond better to that. So those are your three basic parts that I would shoot for if you have multiple instruments in the band. At the end of it, on the fourth time, you got to nail this walk down. And all that is you're walking down chromatically from the 4. So if you're in A, right, that's going to be D, C sharp, B, A. And you can, keep that D major triad on top, right? Now you can do it wherever you have it. And then you finish with A. So again, if you're in G and you're using a capo or wherever like that, you're just thinking a chromatic walk down, and the bass has to nail this too from the 4 chord. Now, when you go to the bridge, something cool happens here. Sorry, not the bridge, the chorus. When you go to the chorus, it's that... There's a voice leading here. And if you're not familiar with what voice leading is when everybody in the band purposely follows a bass line. So they use inversions, and an inversion is when something other than the root of the chord is the lowest audible note in the chord. And so everybody in the band follows a bass line as the first priority, and then they build the chord movements on top. So this part of the bridge, while it's A, E, F sharp, A, D, E, and then the second time it's, A, E, F sharp, A, D, A. Those are the chords, but the bass line is a walk down. So it's... Now, if you listen to the recorded version, and I've done this, if you listen to him play it with Ray Charles and some other live stuff, it's not the same every version, okay? So I don't want to tell you this is the version and then have everybody freak out and say, no, they're voicing a little different on this version. I understand that. The key here is that if you're in a band, that everybody has got to be on the same page with what the root movement is. The most logical thing, which you do hear on the studio version, is A, you have A in the bass. Then you walk down. For the E, you have a G sharp in the bass. That's the major third. For F sharp minor, you have an F sharp in the bass. For A, you have an E in the bass. That's the 5th. And then you're going to go to a D. And again, this is the part which is kind of squirrely. Sometimes it just keeps going straight down, so you have D and you have D in the bass. Sometimes it goes back up, and you'll have F sharp or the major third in the bass, but it's still a D major chord. And then obviously the first time it goes to E, and the second time it goes back to A. So you have to decide as a band, right, if you're going to go or like that. I like to do what I just did, which is go down and up for the first one and then all the way down the second one. I think that makes a more layered, contoured thing. But the point here is that actually speak, converse with the members of your band, and determine which root movement you're going to do. So for the bridge, you have E, D to A. And it does that little, where you hear the backup singer saying, I need her, right? You get that, and that's just a suspension of the A. So if you have an A chord, you can do it here and get a B and a D. You can do it here and get a B and an F sharp. You hear this a lot, but the key here is to you're suspending the A. So when you suspend something, it's either with the second or the fourth typically. You're just not playing the third. You're suspending the third. That's the sound of that. I need her. That's that whole thing. But at the end of the bridge, it does something interesting. So on the fourth time, instead of just going, it goes. So it goes E, D, A, suspend A 3 times. On the fourth time, when you go to that A, it then goes to F sharp minor, right? That's your 6. And then to D, your 4. And then to A. And then to E. Now the key thing here for everybody to get, it's the same thing when there's that chorus part or that walk down in the verse, is the voice leading. Everybody in the band, because it jumps around so much, has to be playing the same root note if you're doing your inversions. And again, if you listen to the studio version and you listen to some live versions, there's variations. It's not always the same. And I know everybody always wants it to be, no, it's this, no, it's this. But the point isn't that everybody plays one thing and that's what's on the record. The point is that everybody plays the same thing, right? That's the key takeaway. So if you're coming from E, D, so it's like, then it's F sharp, D, E. You have to just make sure that you have that right, so. I always like to, E, D, A, and then I'll do F sharp here, and then maybe jump back up, but then hit the E at the end, have that low, and kind of let that linger, right? Let that kind of linger. And then wait for the band to come back in, and then it's another verse section. It does that the whole song. Now, the last thing to talk about in this tune is the lead parts. So if you're going to take a lead in this part, remember, this is a song where it's slow, almost exaggeratingly. It's almost exaggerated how slow it is. And when you are hitting, you're thinking about melody more than you're thinking about rhythm, in the sense that you really just want to wait to be released when you choose your notes. You're not driving. This isn't a place to solo really hard. This isn't a place to do really crazy things. It's absolutely less is more. So I got to throw that out there. But in terms of the actual melody, in terms of what you would solo, this is A major. This is all day. It's A major. And the basic theme is that you'll hear him come in. Where he's coming into the major third. He'll kind of hang around the major third. And when he resolves back to the root. That's kind of the main motif you'll hear him do. And obviously you'll go up. can go into different parts if you want, if that's how the band chooses to do it. But the point is when you're taking these leads, it's A major, but the first part, where he's telling the first part of the story, first part of the sentence, is very much about the major third. And that's where the melody kind of leads. It goes up here, resolve back to the root. Up here, resolve back to the root. And jump around in different octaves. Try to find some melody lines that weave through, right, that create a nice story like he does vocally. But that's always the interplay. The interplay is always that major third of A. And when there's suspensions, you hit 2s or 4s for the most part, but your resolution is right on the tonic. And that's how you want to tackle it. So this is a great song. I can't say it enough. Please add it to your set. Just to go back through it again real quick to make sure we have everything. If you have multiple parts, right, make sure there's a middle, a low part, a mid part, and a high part, especially in the verse. This is a song where you're feeling where the chords, the notes are they wait to be released, as opposed to where you're pushing through a song. That's a key a distinction in feel. The more you play it, the better you'll kind of get. What I'm saying will make more sense to you, because I know it's kind of strange. But you're waiting for it. You're just waiting for everything. And if you have a low, middle, high part, someone's doing chords, someone's arpeggiating, maybe someone's doing the lightning strikes. But less is always more. Never step on the vocals. This is a song where you are supporting the vocals. Make sure you get that walk down, and everybody is voice leading with the same roots. Don't fudge it. Don't just say, oh, sometimes we get it, sometimes we don't. Actually talk, have a conversation, say the names of the notes, figure out the inversions, make sure you get it. Do the same thing when you're coming out of the chorus, when it adds that F sharp at the end. And when you go to take a lead, try to sound like Van singing. And that whole sound is, going up, hanging around the third, resolving back to the root. There are suspensions on the second and fourth. If you miss those, you miss those. If you don't, you don't. You're probably going to hit a lot of them by accident, just going back and forth between the 1 and the 3, because the 2's between them, right? But that's the basic thing of this song. So please, try it out. You're going to love it. And you probably need another slow song anyway, so add it. And that's it. So thanks for watching. And if you like this series, please subscribe, like us on Facebook, tell your friends, and drop a hashtag Learn the Song in the comments with a song you'd like to see me break down about how I would approach this in a cover band. And I'll see you next time.